being an entrepreneur sounds cool, but the reality of building a business is very, very difficult. Every level that you hit, there's a lot of things that suck that you just won't want to do. What you're capable of is on the other side. I don't feel like it.
And if you're committed to what it is that you're trying to do, nothing is going to stop you from getting there.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Business Owners with myself, Trevor Cowley. Today we have a special guest, Justin Brennan. This individual has gone through a $60 million bankruptcy to building back a $200 million portfolio. He's the author of the Multifamily Playbook, and we do have some mutual friends down there in the San Diego area. Shout out to Rich Summers. And
yeah, buddy.
I'm excited to get into this episode. I have a lot of questions in regards to, the temperature that we're at in terms of the marketplace, right? Like some people are going to be like, hey, I'm going to stand on the sidelines, wait for the market to cool off. Is that like your guys' approach right now? Or you just keep moving,
well,
no matter what?
The record.
Yeah.
So it was my dad's bankruptcy.
Okay.
Not mine.
Okay.
But I got to walk through it.
He didn't make the bad decisions. He pulled them out of the bad decisions, I guess.
Yeah, and it was during the financial crisis.
So,
there's some cool stories I can tell you about.
Just over leverage? Is that really what it was?
Yeah. So I come from a real estate family a bit. My grandmother, God bless her soul, a little Italian woman. She was 91, but still driving around in her little S10 Chevy truck, collecting rent from her tenants.
Yeah.
And, she passed that on to my dad a little bit. But my dad didn't grow up in, I guess, a good household. I learned some things after he passed that I didn't know. But I knew that his dad died when he was 3.
Yeah.
I just didn't know why.
Yeah.
And then I found out, and I don't know if just my siblings were trying to protect me or whatever it was, but I found out that he was put in jail. My dad's dad was put in jail for trying to kill his mom.
That's some family trauma, huh?
You think?
Yeah.
Holy
be careful how far up the lineage you go,
And
something's
I found that out, and so he died in prison.
Oh.
I knew he died, but I didn't know that was the situation. So then fast forward, and has a stepdad. His stepdad, not a good stepdad, physically and verbally abused him. Beat the crap out of him. Was not an angry human being. So my dad didn't have good role models, and he went off to Nam. Went into the Army. He thought he was going to get the cushy. They told him he was going to get the cushy job of driving the admirals around over there in Nam.
Yeah.
And when he got there, they said, no, you're going left, not right. And he got inaugurated into being a door gunner in the helicopters in Nam.
Oh, wow.
Where the average lifespan was 7 days.
Wow.
And his initiation, when he was, didn't drink towards the end of his life, but when he would have some cocktails, he would actually tell the stories about how he was initiated, and how they did it was they'd come in a black helicopter. It's like straight out of a freaking movie. They got shields on, sawed-off shotguns. Everything's black everywhere, right? And they come and land the helicopter down. It was him and his buddy were getting initiated into being door gunners. So they get in the helicopter. They're like, come out here. They get in this helicopter. They take off, right, at full speed, throttle it, go straight up in the air until the thing stalls. And then it falls back, snaps the blades, and turns the helicopter back on. And that's how they initiate him. Scared. He said, I've never been so scared in my entire life. And that's how they initiated us into being a door gunner. And they would always sit on bulletproof vests in these helicopters. And he explained how one day they went down in the patties, right? They get shot up from underneath because they'd always get shot up. Came through the helicopter, killed the door gunner on the other side.
Oh, that's why they sit on them.
Yep. Killed the co-pilot. Wounded the pilot. He could still fly, but wounded him. My dad would, because they would always sit on one. My dad would sit on 3. And he says it came through, stopped in the last bulletproof vest, about 1/4 of an inch.
Wow.
And he said, you guys are about 1/4 of an inch from never being born.
Wow.
So
from that moment.
So yeah,
real estate isn't so scary.
Real estate isn't so scary.
You're not getting shot at by helicopters.
So he comes home from Nam in the 70s, gets into real estate as a real estate broker, starts selling stuff, but hates the selling side. Says, I want to start building things. So we started building some homes in San Diego. And then he went to like little subdivisions. He'd build like 6-10 homes.
Yeah.
And then said, hey, why don't we do bigger stuff like some condo complexes or bigger subdivisions? So got big in San Diego. Went through multiple cycles. He went through 3 or 4 real estate cycles, everything from the savings and loan crisis of the 80s and 90s to early stuff before the 2000s. And then, here comes the financial crisis of 2008 and 9. And he was pretty big at that time. He was doing stuff all over the Western U.S. from Idaho, Las Vegas, Sacramento area, Southern Riverside area, and then San Diego. And just at the time, just over leveraged. I mean, it wasn't over leveraged then, but it became over leveraged.
Yeah.
Its valuations plummeted.
Yeah.
Right. And what looked like, 100 million in assets went to, 20
Negative.
quick.
Yeah.
Right. And then you still got the debt. And so it just doesn't work. The math doesn't work. And so, he had to file a massive BPA.
So that just the market turning put you guys in a $60 million hole with how much you guys were leveraged. You guys were leveraged hundreds
and it was
of millions.
It was all on new construction stuff. So
Yeah.
he was right in the middle of construction of almost 1,000 units on 3 different properties.
Yeah.
And obviously the bank, I'll never forget it because it was April 8th, 2008 at like 8 something in the morning. A lot of 8s. And he walks in my office and sits down, closes the door, and proceeds to tell me the banks just called and they said they're shutting down all the loans. And I said, well, they can't do that. And he says, well, yeah, I told them that too. We have loans out. I can't just stop them.
Yeah.
And they said, sue us.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do. Everybody was getting in their corners and putting the gloves on because the party's, changing real quick. And
so what was the lesson that was pulled from that experience? I mean, obviously it's a terrible experience, but those are great moments to extract valuable lessons. So what was
I could have easily watched that happen to my dad and say, well, I'm out of real estate. I don't want anything to do with real estate. I'm going to tuck tail and go into a totally different world.
Yeah.
But what I took from that was cash flow is king.
Mm-hmm.
And don't over leverage.
Yeah.
Which is what moved me into the apartment game versus the build and sell game. Because he was always really good at making money, but then could lose money.
Yeah.
And so our family wealth mimicked real estate cycles.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he was selling.
Build and sell, not build and hold.
Yeah.
Not build and hold. And so what I took from that was, Dad, I said, not to put salt on a wound, but I'm just think if you would have held even 10% of the apartments and stuff you built and sold to these institutional firms, right? Even if you would have sold off 90, kept 10, right? And had that cash flow, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
But because you were such in the build and sell game, it made you susceptible to market cycle change.
Was he able to salvage anything in 2008? Some stuff that he had tucked away still in his back pocket.
Yeah,
maybe BK'd maybe some of the debt stuff.
Correct.
And kept some of the assets and then used the assets to pull back out.
He saw things spiraling about 6 to 8 months before they collapsed.
Yeah.
And so, yes, did he,
move some
stuff around to get some stuff into preparation to where it wouldn't be traceable and trackable?
Yeah.
Sure he did, but not to any crazy amount.
Yeah.
And so it was still devastating. I mean, to go from being 20 million liquid to being zero, overnight seemingly is a problem.
Yeah.
Regardless of the assets. And,
did you see a big change in terms of lifestyle as a family during that period of time, having to liquidate family homes and all of that?
Oh yeah. I mean, he sold a lot of the homes in advance, right? So once again, 6 to 8 month run leading up to it. So he did liquidate some of the homes and stuff and took out whatever cash was in those.
Yeah.
And then, but the business stuff, yeah.
What was the first play after that?
He ended up, he, out of thought for the family, he moved to Temecula and got into Riverside County.
Okay.
So that way, when it hit the papers, it wouldn't hit San Diego County papers. It would hit Riverside County papers. Be kind of a little smaller, maybe a little
trying to brunt the bad press.
Listen, everybody was getting hammered.
Yeah.
Right? You're get in line.
Yeah.
Right. But he didn't want the family name kind of ripped all over the paper.
So was he a general contractor or?
Yeah, he was licensed GC, but also developer, builder.
Yeah.
Had all the above. I mean, so he had framing company, construction company, like all the construction sides. So we could handle the construction.
He had multiple entities that he would basically hire himself to do a lot of the work as the GC.
So and that would, number one, make money, but also save cost and speed and efficiencies. So we were good in that aspect of it. But
so after doing like a bankruptcy, you're left with, nothing outside of just maybe a few assets that you liquidated.
Right. And then, less than $1 million.
Yeah.
Of stuff that he's able to migrate with. And so he starts flipping some houses like a lot of guys did back then and did pretty well with that in Southern Riverside. It was
flipping houses, and he would buy a house on the market and flip it, or would he still build and try to
he
flip?
Wouldn't build. It would always be existing.
Yeah.
And
so he's just using a little bit of cash he had, buying cash and trying to make 30 grand here, 50 grand here on a flip.
Yeah, 80 grand. Obviously margins were high in the beginning and they squeezed to where they're at now. But he did that pretty much for, most of, the remainder of his life until he was in his early 70s. So about 10 years he was doing that and then started to get sick. Right. And so that was probably right around 74. Yeah. Kind of when, he had
health
type 2 diabetes. Yeah. And then they found out too, he had CLL, which is chronic lymphoma leukemia. And that was from Agent Orange in Vietnam. So they found that out after obviously going through all the health stuff.
Yeah.
So, it was manageable, but eventually it was going to get him.
I mean, the real estate games, it's not for the faint of heart, right?
Yeah.
The highs could be extremely high, but the lows can be extremely low, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel as though like the multifamily, the niche that you got in real estate, that kind of blunts some of the highs and some of the lows where it creates consistency? Is that kind of the point of, niching down in a market that is multifamily?
Yeah, so there's different asset classes you can get into in real estate.
Yeah.
And there's different arenas in real estate, right? You could just be a hard money lender.
Yeah.
Ways to make money.
Yeah.
You could just be a flipper, fix and flipper.
Yeah.
Maybe do short-term rentals.
Do the wholesale game or
wholesale.
There's there's infinite ways to
make money in real estate.
Yeah.
The asset classes.
Yeah.
So we started, it was I'll never forget this. Do you know who Tom Ferry is?
Mm-mm.
He's like a big real estate coach guy.
Gotcha.
So 2008.
Tom Ferry.
Tom Ferry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, I actually heard him speak at one of Gary Vee's things.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
It was Agent 2021 is what it was called. And he was having real estate agents, insurance agents, And so you had Tom there speak to the real estate agents that were in the audience.
So he's been around forever. His dad, Mike Ferry, and his other brother, Patrick Ferry. It's the Ferry family, right? They're in the real estate coaching space. And so this was 2008, right in the heart of the financial crisis. I'm getting my nuts kicked in.
Yeah.
And I'm at a conference with 5,000 agents. And Tom Ferry comes out on stage after the break, and he's rah-rahing everybody up like Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
And he says, all right, man, who here in this audience wants to own rental income property? And of course, like all the hands of all the realtors go up. They're like, yeah, right? And he's like, great. He said, who here financially right now could go buy a rental income property? And like 99% of the hands go down. And he says, well, here's the secret all of you are missing, right? You don't have to have a single dime to own rental income property. He says, you just need to have a friend that has the ability to own rental income property. He says, you're a realtor. He says, you have something very valuable, and that is a license.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you can find the deals. You can analyze them. You can put them together. You can structure them. You can manage them. You can roll on commissions. You have an enormous amount of sweat equity. You just need to go find somebody with money who you can build with.
Yeah.
You go find the deals. If you don't have the cash right now, you build it, put it together, split things, and then there you go. And I said, interesting. So I said, who do I know that's not being clobbered right now that I could go to?
That has money.
That has some capital
to
get started.
Yeah.
And then I'll spearhead it all. I'll be the sweat, right? I'll be the grunt. And because I was getting clobbered.
So did you have your real estate license at that point?
I had my broker's license.
That's why you were at the event?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my broker's license and had it.
Yeah.
But
were you focused on trying to make money that way, or was that just part of?
Yeah, oddly enough. So after my dad's businesses collapsed, I had the chance to work. Oddly enough, go work for the banks.
Yeah.
So I was an asset manager for the banks, handling all their foreclosures for them nationwide. So I was the guy behind the computer divvying it out to all the realtors.
Yeah.
Saying, here's the REOs.
Yeah.
Doing the whole cash for keys, evictions, like straight out of the movies.
Yeah.
All over the country. But I saw the needle moving from foreclosures, where the bank controlled the property, to short sales, where the homeowner controlled the property.
Yeah.
But it's still going to sell for right distress. So I said, interesting. I said, this thing's going to change. So I went out, I had my broker's license. I said, who better than to go sit in the living room with a family and help them out of debt and a problem than a guy coming out from the bank. I said, I can look at their situation and tell them exactly how to get it done. So we did an enormous amount of short sales. And that's how I got into the broker world.
Okay.
I was doing short sales. We did a ton in San Diego.
Basically saying, don't let this hit your credit. Let's get it off.
Well, it's going to hit your credit. It's just a matter of...
I guess that in short sale, you're supposed to default for what, 90 days or 6 months or something like
most
that?
Most of the people were defaulted already.
Were they?
Right? Because, the market was in a storm. And... their loans had reset. It was all the whole negative AM, that whole game, interest only for a time, negative AM, 100% finance.
Then the balloon payment,
show up and you tell us what you make and we put it on paper. That's how people did. It was a complete shit show, right?
That's all it was.
Right.
And when we say tell us, we'll tell you, this is what you need to tell us in order to qualify for this home.
Correct.
You have to have an income of X. And then you're like, okay, what's your income? Well, it's X. If that's going to allow me to get the home that I want, right?
And then in 2 years, it's going to reset. And it's going to triple.
And then
you're going to be FUCK'd.
Yeah, exactly.
So, going through that, but I could sit down because they were already in default. And the question was one of two. What's your goal? Is it to stay in the home long term?
Yeah.
Or is it to relieve yourself of the debt in the next 90 to 120 days?
Yeah.
And move on.
What if they wanted to stay in the home?
We would work that as long as possible.
Yeah.
And I could negotiate 2 years on that deal if I really wanted to.
So then you would go to the banks. And
we would just delay it out. We would get the paperwork going in the system.
Yeah.
And it was such a clob of, you know what?
So were they redoing loans just to...
No, there's very few modifications. Gotcha. But you could get into the cycle and just keep filtering stuff through and delaying and file this and file that to keep the homeowner in the home. If they knew their credit was shot and this was the issue and I need a year and a half, 2 years in the home, we could figure that out.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're going to leave.
Yeah.
But we could delay it out. So that was an option, right? But
so most people, there was a window of time, so it's max 2 years that they could stay in the house?
Yeah, maybe.
Year to two, something
like that. Yeah, there weren't many of those. Most people wanted like 3 to 6 months.
So did you have an exit strategy then at the end of that?
Yeah, it would always get either short sold,
right,
or a deed in lieu.
Okay.
Deed in lieu, which was one of the two. So but it was always, they'd always lose the home.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how long is it.
Would they ever get any equity out that they had in the home? It was just basically
there wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all folks where
they're upside down
80%.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was no equity in it. It was just a matter of preservation, and then at some point, how do we get relieved of the debt?
Okay. So you went from that to when did the multifamily?
So they all kind of started at the same time because that was 2008, and then by 2010, I'd gone to a partner of mine, a buddy who became a partner, Christopher Poley. And he was in the tech industry, so he was not hit by the real estate the way I was. And I said, Chris, we both talked about wanting to own multifamily and apartments and stuff. We just didn't know how to start. So here's the deal. Now, I don't have the money to do it right now, but I know now's the time to buy. Mm-hmm. So there's blood in the street.
Yeah.
And you always buy when there's blood in the street, even if it's your blood.
Yeah.
Right? You buy.
Yeah.
So I said, if you have some capital, I will go find the deals. I'll put them together for us. I'll run them. I'll manage them. I'll do everything. You just collect checks. And we'll split everything 50-50. So he provided the initial down payment. We bought our first condo. It was a $100,000 condo in Murrieta, California. Right? $100,000 condo. Okay?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Everything was
80%
off, right?
Yeah.
$100,000 condo.
That's $2,000.
Seriously.
Yeah.
$25,000 down, $75,000 loan with Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Normal stuff. And it didn't, it cash flowed at like 26% cash on cash.
Yeah.
Right. But
just the number was so low.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's how we started.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, let's do a duplex, and let's do a triplex, and then a fourplex, and then a fourplex, and a triplex. And we did all of that mostly with our own money.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the point that most investors get to, and you're like, shit, we're running out of our own money.
Yeah.
But we want to grow and scale.
Yeah.
Like, how do we do this game? And I didn't understand OPM, other people's money.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how the game of money even worked. So I had to learn it. And then, it wasn't, so that was 2010. By 2018, so 8 years, we accumulated 20 units and about $3 million in assets.
Yeah.
Right? All with our own money.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
All right, doing all right. But we wanted bigger and more. I just didn't know how to get there. And I was kind of holding myself back from going for it, like playing small ball a little bit.
Yeah.
And then 2018 came around, and everybody has different things that happen in their lives that make them kind of reflect on life.
Yeah.
And
How
so
old were you at that time?
this was,
That was what, 8 years ago, something like that.
right. So I'm 38. Is that right? Yeah, I'm 46 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 40, blah, blah. You're 42?
41.
41. Okay.
Yeah.
But so we lost my sister in 2018,
Gotcha.
and she died of autoimmune disease, 46 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Was that one of the
triggering
things that
moments?
made you kind of really reflect on
Yeah,
everything
I'm
in
sitting
life
there.
and what am I going to do? How big do I want to play the game? And
Well, just realizing how fragile life is,
yeah,
right? And how
Yeah.
fast it can go.
yeah,
We get into the cycle of life and we just go.
mm-hmm.
And then we're not sitting there going, okay, like we're not as intentful sometimes.
Yeah,
We just get into a cycle.
Yeah. Am I in alignment with a better outcome?
Yeah.
Through
Or am I just in the hamster wheel?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course I went through, the grieving process and then reflection.
I think that's like that's a perfect time for a midlife crisis too. I tell people, I'm like, be careful. It comes, it rears its ugly head, 36, 37, 38, 30, it's like, you're not a kid. You're not in your 20s anymore. You're creeping up on 40 and you're kind of like, what am I doing with my life? And
Yeah, and we were doing all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of not, but it's like I wanted more.
Yeah.
But I was also mentally holding myself back in comfortable region.
Was that just because of the scars of 2008 maybe?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
You just caught yourself subconsciously not playing all out.
Correct.
For whatever reason.
Yeah. And it wasn't because I wasn't capable,
Yeah.
but I think we keep ourselves in a comfortable zone
Yeah.
because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
So stepping outside of that is scary.
Yeah.
And it requires risk
Mm-hmm.
and betting on yourself. And so I'll never forget it because I was scrolling through Facebook and I was in my car after I went to a listing appointment. And this is, not too long after she passed. And I come across this ad saying, hey, learn how to syndicate apartments and learn how to use other people's money to do it and all this other stuff. And I'm like, our phones are listening to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what?
Okay. Click. Yeah.
Click on it,
Yeah.
get into it. And, this was in Boston, Massachusetts, completely across the country.
Mm.
And I said, F it. I said, I'm going for it. So I bought the most expensive ticket because I was always told if you go, get in the front row, shake the hands, meet the right people. That's what you want. Right?
Yeah.
It's a handshake money making game.
Yeah.
So I flew out there completely across the country, went to a conference with 3,000 people.
It was an event that you saw.
Yeah.
That you clicked on and you bought a ticket to the event.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I flew out all the way across the country for 4 days, 3,000 people, sat in an auditorium, met a bunch of people. And sometimes when you sit in these rooms, you can get imposter syndrome. Oh my gosh.
It's like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a second to get over it. You shake a few hands and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no normal person.
Yeah.
But I sat in that room, and I don't know if it's because of a little bit of my background or whatever it was, but I'm like, man, if these people on stage can do this,
Yeah.
this guy can do it.
Yeah.
And so I got motivated because
Yeah.
it wasn't even imposter syndrome anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap. Not that they weren't the smartest tools in the shed,
Yeah.
but I'm like, if these people can do this, like, I'm just holding myself back.
Yeah.
I just need to learn the skill.
Yeah.
So that's what started it. And I dug in deep. I didn't have a mentor yet at that time, but I met a few people. I just knew we needed to scale our money.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to pull some of it out of our current assets and then move it.
Divert it.
But we couldn't do it in Southern California because it was too expensive. We needed the dollar to go farther.
Yeah.
And so Southern California is too expensive at that point.
That's where all of your other.
That's where
assets
so we're
were.
triggered. I said, we need to go out of California.
Yeah.
And so I'd happened to meet a guy at the conference. He says, listen, you need to come take a look at Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm like, Kansas City?
Yeah.
He's like, just trust me. Come out and take a look. And this was in 2018. And so lo and behold, I fly out there. I think it was right at the beginning of 2019 in January. Is probably -5 degrees, freezing ass cold.
Seems like a place nobody would want to inhibit, bro.
I mean, you'd think, but I flew out there. I landed, and I'm driving through downtown and around the areas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this place looks like San Diego in 2004. As all the cranes were going up, building, construction, development. I mean,
Stuff
just
was moving
all over the place.
Yeah.
Money's flowing in this place like no tomorrow. So I said, okay. I mean, I can identify a path of progress. And I said, let's go. I said, find me something that's just outside of the development zones where I know things are coming.
Yeah.
And I said, let's go buy some properties. And yeah, you can go out there and for $80,000 a unit, buy an apartment complex. So for $2 million, we bought our first 27-unit deal.
Wow.
And got a $1.7 million loan. I never thought I can get a loan, but then you realize, oh, they give the property the loan. They don't give me the loan.
Yeah.
It's the financials of the property.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, we need $900,000 to close on this thing. Well, I don't have the $900,000, but I said we can bring in 75. So we brought in 75, and then we raised the other money. And then people are like, well, how did you raise the money? I said, well, the deal was a good deal. I said it produced 18 to 20% a year for our investors. They got massive tax write-offs.
Well,
and
you guys do cost. Are they
cost
on?
seg, yeah.
Are they on the entity in terms of? So when you do the K1,
correct.
they get their
That's
portion.
right.
Of
So
the
everybody
cost
that
seg.
is in that deal gets their portion.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So, and it's almost dollar for dollar. So if you invest $100,000, we're going to wipe out. We're going to give you $100,000 negative K1.
So do you do that by inflating the property?
Nope. No, all that happens is you have a third-party company come in, uses $5,000 to $7,000 for the report, which is the cost seg report,
Yeah.
and that allows your accountant to then come in and bonus depreciate that asset.
So, so I have a buddy here in town like that. That's one of the things that he's talking about doing. He just buys building after building after building at this point.
Yep.
You know, he makes whatever 7 figures on a monthly basis. So
Wow.
he's just like,
Jeez, he needs some bonus depreciation.
when I went to lunch with him, he's like, bro, my full-time job is looking at buildings. He's like, I have 10 right now on my list that I need to go look at.
Well, because if he
Storage
does commercial,
units,
okay.
commercial.
Yes, if he's doing one of these a year, it's real simple math.
He's doing
It's,
way more than that.
Is you find out whatever your taxable event is going to be.
Yeah.
So let's say he's going to owe $500,000
Yeah.
taxes for simple math given him. Then he needs to go wipe out $500,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at it. It's either you have option A, which is pay IRS Uncle Sam as
Yeah.
goes into a black hole.
Yeah.
It's option A.
Yeah.
Or option B, go buy real estate, typically commercial, bonus depreciate that thing.
Yeah.
Hold it for at least 5 years. And then you're going to wipe out all the taxes on that $500,000 that was going to go to Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And then people are like, why does the government let you do that? And I said, well, because you're moving a lot of money. I said, that's the whole name of the game. The more money you move, the more tax breaks you get.
Yeah.
It's real simple. I said, because the more money, I put it in this sense. How many industries, jobs are created from one sale of a commercial building or multifamily? Guess.
10.
80.
You're talking about from title to
Everything.
agent to
Everything. To the contractors,
Yeah.
to everything that's going to work on that building.
Yeah.
Everything. Like 50 to 80 different people in industry
You're going to eat off
and
of it.
jobs
Yeah.
are going to eat off of that.
Yeah.
Do you think those pay taxes?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by creating a movement of money,
Then you're creating a taxable event. So even if you give a tax break on this main event, the trickle down factor of taxing the money.
that's how the IRS creates tax revenue.
Yeah.
'Cause they say, go move a bunch of money. You're the
Yeah.
person willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
Sweet. Go move the money. You're going to create 50 to 80 other revenue streams.
Yeah.
It's going to pay us taxes,
Mm.
all back to the IRS.
Yeah.
So we create tax revenue, which is why movement of money is the way that works. It's not like because they love you.
Yeah. So most cost seg studies, usually you're getting what, 20-30%, something like that on year one?
40 to 60%
Okay.
of a write-off
Yeah.
on the valuation.
Of the purchase price.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's call it 40%.
Okay.
So I think on that $2 million building, we had $670,000 or whatever it was in bonus depreciation.
Mhm.
Year one.
Yeah.
Year one.
Yeah.
You still get years 2, 3, 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just smaller.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, our investors loved it, wiped out big gains for them. And then they're getting 18 to 20% a year on their money. So they're like, sweet, this was going to sit in a 401k,
Yeah.
an IRA,
Yeah.
a bank account. It's going to sit in another asset class, stocks earning 8 to 10%. or I can put it into a tangible real estate asset, wipe out my taxes and get.
I mean, you could still have it in a 401k and borrow against it.
You can, which a lot of people,
and then have your payments go back towards that.
Right.
So
a lot of people
make
they'll invest their IRA money, 401k money.
Yeah.
They'll even, if they want to pull out of stocks, obviously they'll have that issue. But a lot of people will do that because they're saying, okay, I'll keep that portfolio. I'll take a certain percentage of it, move it over here into real estate.
Basically making that same dollar make money in two different places.
Correct. And diversify.
Yeah.
And then own the real estate.
Yeah.
I physically can say I own this building.
So what's the plan? Like, is your goal just to continue to acquire, keep, or is there times that it's like, okay, this is a good time to liquidate this property. Let's get out from underneath it, free up some capital for a different project.
Yeah, so my mentor, Rudy Medina, was also Grant Cardone's first partner in multifamily in San Diego. I don't know if you knew that Grant Cardone started in San Diego.
Well, I thought he lived in California for a while and then hated the politics and took off to Florida.
Yeah, so born and raised in Louisiana.
Okay.
Did some flipping and rentals in Houston. Moved to California when he was doing his car sales, coaching, and all that stuff. Lived in La Jolla in San Diego. And this was in late 90s, early 2000s. And his whole thing started, he walked across the street one day. He talks about this story. It's a crazy story. The only reason I know this story is because of Rudy Medina. Walks across the street at a waterfront property on Windansea Beach in La Jolla. Meets the broker who was getting ready to put the house on the market. Says, no, you're not putting the house on the market. I'm going to buy it with some partners. And they bought it for $4.2 million, flipped it for $9.4. Made first big chunk of zeros.
Wow.
That was the first big zero check that he made, in a lot in one check.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do with it and didn't want to get taxed. So he's meeting a bunch of different people. He runs into this guy, Rudy Medina, who happens to be a broker for Marcus and Millichap at that time in San Diego. They end up partnering on the first two multifamily deals. One was a 30-unit in Point Loma in San Diego. The other one was a 48-unit in Vista in San Diego. And that was Grant Cardone's first two apartment deals. And then from there, obviously, Grant said, holy shit, this is good.
Yeah.
Let's go do some more.
Instead of hawking car sales training.
Yeah, and he still does that, right? So now he's got two buckets. He's got obviously the coaching and all that, right? It's a massive revenue source.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got 10,000, 14,000 apartments now.
Yeah.
And he's going to a completely different level, but that's how it started. So long story short, Rudy always said, you buy three, sell one, buy three, sell one, buy three, sell one. So this way you're always acquiring.
Yeah.
But then you have moments of liquidation.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you refinance
some of them
too.
Yeah.
Typically every 5 years, the market's at a point you can refinance.
Gotcha.
And you pull cash out, which is tax-free.
Yeah.
And you go buy more.
It's a loan.
That's right.
So when you pull cash out, is that like an event where the investor gets paid, or is it just like, hey guys, we could take this money and roll it into a new project that you guys can be a part of as well?
Correct.
Or you give options in that regard?
You can give the option.
Yeah.
So first of all, the investors always get paid first. So per the legal documents, they get paid a preferred return first.
Yeah.
And then it goes to profit splits.
Yeah.
So that way you as the general partner who put it together aren't getting paid unless you're making the investor's money.
Yeah.
But you're actually an investor in your own deal.
Yeah.
So the money that we put in is actually as our own investor.
Yeah.
Like in our own deal, alongside the investors.
Yeah. The entity is up here and you're down.
That's right. So we're getting paid just like them, and our alignment is just like the investor.
Yeah.
So that's why it's great. So once that gets paid, then you can distribute the initial capital back to the investors. And then you could say, hey, what does everybody want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to go buy more deals?
So you give them their money back first, and then from there.
It's their option.
Yeah.
So as we're doing this cash out, we'll pay them their preferred return first.
Yeah.
Then we're like, listen, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to go buy more properties, or do you want just your money?
Yeah.
You have the call. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the majority of people put their just roll money back in.
Yeah, if they don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't, because why pull it out and then get taxed and all that stuff? So just keep rolling it.
Do you ever deal with investors wanting out of their investment way too early?
Of course. Especially
if they're like just in a tough financial spot. Because
I mean, it's happening now.
Yeah.
It's happening now where
they're coming
over the last 36 months, and anybody can tell you this, since the interest rates went up in March of 2022, it's been a shitstorm.
Yeah.
So what people don't understand, it's not a residential problem. right? Like it was in 2008.
Yeah.
Now you have a quiet 2008 with commercial.
Yeah.
And the banks are holding it together, meaning
I've heard it's not so quiet though.
well,
You know, I've heard that the default rates on multifamily are an all-time high right now.
They are.
It's never been higher.
and same thing with office,
Yeah.
and some other asset
Yeah,
classes,
yeah.
because keep in mind, even if you had good debt on them,
Yeah.
you know, like good interest rates, good all that stuff. Well, all commercial loans, what people don't understand is they're either 3, 5, 7, or 10-year debt.
Mm-hmm.
There is no 30-year mortgages.
Yeah.
So your debt is coming due 3, 5, 7, or 10
You have
years.
to solve it every
You gotta
so
solve it.
often.
You
Yeah.
got to either sell
Refi.
or you refinance.
Yeah.
Right. And so given what's happened over the last 36 months, I mean, you had $700 and something billion in loans come due this year.
Mm.
You have 900 and something billion next year coming due. And unless interest rates kind of figure themselves out,
Yeah.
which is still a sticky problem,
In other words, come down.
right? But it's still a sticky problem.
Yeah.
What's happening is either banks are kind of quietly pushing it down, saying, "Hey,
We'll deal with it later.
You're paying us every month. Let's just kind of,
Yeah.
push it
Put
down
it-
the pike."
Water under the bridge
Correct.
for now.
They're just not saying anything. They're just
Yeah.
letting you pay it.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of deal with what's going on.
Yeah.
Some are being modified. A few are being modified, and the other ones are going back. Keys are going back
Mm.
to banks. So you're seeing that happen, and you know,
How is that possible though, with like rent prices being as high? I mean, it seems like we're at the peak of a market.
the
in
rents
terms
are
of-
going down.
Yeah, are
I mean,
they coming back down?
The only areas they're not coming down is in tightly supplied markets. So like Southern California, they're pretty stable because it's just tightly constrained.
Yeah.
Maybe like New York or South Florida, just highly supply constrained markets
Well developed.
are stable
Yeah.
because supply demand.
Yeah.
But in the Sunbelt states, ooh boy, I mean, Texas, 15 to 20% rent drops. Arizona, at least 10% or more.
Because people are just at this point, they have developments and they need to put
Well,
people in it, and they're like, dude, we need cash flow coming in.
Correct.
Got
And
debt to service.
if you were to take, like this year, 2025, there was over 500,000 apartment units delivered in the United States. 2/3 of those were in 2 states, Texas and Florida. So the good news is a lot of it's getting absorbed. The bad news is it's oversupplied drastically in the short term. So what's happening is now rent prices have dropped drastically to offset that, because Class A that have to lease up, rents drop. Then it hits Class B and so forth, right? And then your demographic will change. So now the people that were renting in Class B properties are moving up to Class A because they can afford it. And they're giving them 2-3 months of concessions and free rents, and all this stuff's happening. So it's putting an enormous pressure on vacancy, occupancy, rent prices, the overall revenue of that property is squeezing. So things are getting real gnarly in the spaces where a lot of these guys we're just holding on. We have one property, we're just holding on. And thank God we have good debt on it.
Yeah.
And I could tell you some crazy stories on a couple deals, man.
What do you mean by hold on? Just that
We're riding through the tough market.
It's burning money right now,
It's basically
or
breaking even, barely.
You're still just playing the long game on it.
You have to,
Yeah.
because the other option is
Let it go.
try and sell it, and you're going to lose all your money
Yeah.
currently based on the valuations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those is stuff like that in the California market, or
No, not as much, because that's tightly constrained.
Yeah.
Rents are stable, revenue's still stable, so you're not seeing it nearly as bad.
Kansas City or whatever.
Kansas City's fine.
Yeah.
Tightly constrained. The upper Midwest is fine.
Yeah.
It didn't have nearly the new development, new construction. The problem is all the new development that happened. All the developers came in because
So the development side of Texas is going to be hit because everybody started developing because of the demand, and then now everybody developed, and then the demand
right, because you when you go
shrinks.
decide, hey, we want to go build 200 units, right? It's
Yeah.
not like it happens overnight.
Yeah, a
You gotta
couple
go
years
plan,
later.
permit,
Yeah.
right? So it takes time to
Yeah.
do that. And so because of COVID, it screwed some things up. So then now all these units came out of the ground at similar time frames and walked right into the increase in interest rates, 2022, 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
So all the stuff's being delivered that got delayed.
So
Now it's all hitting the market similar time frame.
oh god.
So you can see what's happening.
Yeah.
Now you're walking right into a market that's capped out with high interest rates. Everybody's squeezed on expenses, inflation, like all this other stuff. So now rent prices have gone boom.
Yeah. So how does, like, let's say for instance somebody wanted to get in multifamily. How do they know that they're getting a good deal?
Metrics on a deal analyzer.
Yeah.
will tell you.
What is that? Just like a software that
a little Excel, no different than if you're analyzing any kind of a real estate deal. It's going to tell you 3 metrics are the main ones: cash on cash return.
Yeah.
Equity multiple, meaning if I give you $100,000, what is my multiple on that?
Okay.
And then the last one is IRR, which is internal rate of return. It's like an annual rate of return.
Yeah.
And that's like the main one.
So what does that need to be at numbers-wise for the rate of return? Is it?
Yeah, so for a good deal to be in multifamily, you have to be at 15% or greater on the IRR.
Yeah.
Equity multiple, 1.8 to 2 or greater. So if I give you $100,000, I'm getting $200,000 back.
Yeah.
And then a cash on cash of north of 6 to 8, 10% or greater.
Gotcha.
And if it hits those metrics, the deal will make sense.
Yeah. I've heard just some metrics in terms of like single family, that if it's not doing at least 10 or 12% a year. Something like
on
that.
On SFR rentals, on the single family rentals.
Yeah. Just something basic. So if you buy it for $300,000, it should be able to bring you back $300,000 within 10 years, 12 years.
Sure.
Something like that.
Have a doubling. Yeah.
Something like that. Is that, would you say that's normal?
Yeah. But depending on the market, right? Because, you don't have as much appreciation outside of the coastal markets.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat. If you go into areas of the Midwest and stuff, it's pretty flat on appreciation. You're just banking on cash flow.
Yeah. So what's is there like a specific number that makes a deal good? Like it has to have 20 units or above, or 50 units or above, or 100 units or above? Yeah. Or could you find good deals that are just 10 units? And would you even entertain stuff like that? Like, is there a level that you're at that you say, hey, we don't want to play this game anymore, this is what we're looking to do?
Yeah, so for us, it's 50 units or greater.
Okay.
But when we got started, I tell people that the sweet spot for any brand new person that wants to get into multifamily is a 10 to 30 unit apartment building.
Mm-hmm. Why is that the sweet spot?
More mom and pop sellers, mom and pop brokers. Lenders will deal with you because you're new. Everybody will deal with you because you're new, because you're in that kind of more mom and pop space.
Gotcha.
And the capital is smaller. You're not going to raise $1 million, $2 million, right?
Yeah.
You're not taking down crazy loans.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, it's a few $1,000 mistake. It's not a $300,000 mistake. So it's bite-sizable for your first deal.
Yeah.
And you could go, I kid you not, you can go buy a 10 to 30 unit apartment building even today, and I can show you how for $30,000 to $50,000 physically out of pocket, you'll have control and ownership of a 30 unit apartment building all day long.
What would somebody expect in terms of the type of return on that?
So you as a general partner, that's what you are, your returns will be between 30 to 50% a year on your money. And you'll wipe out, and that doesn't even include the tax wipeout. That's just returns. Because keep in mind, you have limited out-of-pocket capital. So let's walk you through a basic $1 million deal.
Okay.
$1 million apartment building. You're going to get a $700,000 loan. So that's 70% loan to value.
Okay.
$300,000 down payment.
Okay.
With that down payment, you as the general partner are going to bring in about 10% of that. So that's about $30,000.
Okay.
$270,000 is going to be brought in from OPM, other people's money. It could be friends, family, people. It's easy to find that money if the deal makes sense. Now, you're only out of pocket $30,000. What the cool thing is there's fees based into these things too. Mm-hmm. So you get usually a 2 to 3% acquisition fee. So let's take $1 million deal. That's $20,000.
Yeah,
2%.
Yeah. So
you brought in 30. Literally within 7 days of closing the escrow, you're going to get a check back for 20. So you're physically out of pocket $10,000.
So do you sell it to the investors for $20,000 more?
No. It's all built into the closing cost of the deal. So the acquisition fees, closing costs, lender fees, it's built into that closing cost number.
So there's like a finder's fee on that.
Correct. Yeah. You can call it that. Yeah. But it's more of an acquisition fee because you're the one that found it, put it together, structured it, managing it day to day, making sure it's making money. Like you're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 other 8 ways you get paid too through multifamily.
Yeah.
Asset management fees, construction management fees, all kinds of refi fees.
Asset management in terms of property management.
No. Asset manager is what I do now. I'm not a property manager. I just make sure the property manager is doing their damn job.
Okay.
So a couple hours of my week looking at reports and numbers to make sure those things look good. And if they do, great. If they don't look good, we have a call.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the asset management level to make sure that property is operating. No different than you do business. You're just making sure.
Just looking, hey, why do we have vacancies? What are we doing to get them filled? Right. Or, just kind of making sure that there's always a plan. Somebody's pushing the cart down the path.
Correct. So and you get paid a fee for that.
Do you find most of like your good deals, I'm guessing all your deals are like, hey, if they don't hit these numbers, then we're just not going to do it.
Right.
I mean, obviously there's got to be some sort of safety net clause of let's just not buy whatever.
Yep.
Are the best deals that you're getting, are they like normally off market through relationships that you have? Are they brokers that you've created relationships with that they're saying, yo, this is about to hit the market? Or is it just it's already on the market and that's a good deal?
Yeah. No. So what's cool about commercial, unlike residential, like if you're going to go buy a single family, 95% of the deals are on the market.
Yeah.
Right. Some are off, but a lot are on. So MLS, Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, you meet the brokers, they're going to tell you stuff, right? But it's mostly on.
Okay.
Commercial real estate, completely the opposite. So if you go, you know what Crexy is? Crexy.com or LoopNet.
Yeah, LoopNet.
Similar to Crexy. They're all the same. It's like an online marketplace, free, just like Zillow, but
for commercial. Yeah, yeah.
So anything on those websites only represents about 20% of the actual market. And then people are like, okay, cool, I know that. So how do I get to the pre-market?
How do you get to the 80%?
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's only two ways to find deals, either direct to broker or direct to owner.
Okay.
Right, direct to broker or direct to owner. The easiest one to start with, if you're newer, is the direct to broker approach, because they're the ones that are making the calls every day, calling people like you and me, whatever.
Them saying, "Hey, this is what I'm
thinking about selling,
blah
blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's about a 2-week window between when the broker takes that listing, sets it all up marketing wise, and puts it on the websites.
Yeah.
That 2-week window, they're serving it out to their 25 or 30 investor friends.
Yeah.
That
kind of pre-market package it,
pre-market
make
package,
it look pretty. You're getting the best deal in the world.
Yep.
Buy it now. Yeah.
And those are the ones that make financial sense.
Yeah.
Because they will sell about 80% of the time right there. They will never hit the website. So that's the gap. It's that 2 to 3 week window before it goes to the website. That's where it sells. And that's the one where you actually underwrite it.
Yeah.
And you're like, this thing makes decent sense.
Yeah. So they're just doing that for, why wouldn't they take it to market and try to get more?
Because they can get enough money it is the market.
You're packaging it to a certain extent where you're creating enough buzz about it, making people want to.
It's not like I'm sending it to one person.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's going out to a pool of good investors that buy properties. They've been around.
They're all competitors.
They can see the deal and they'll play.
Yeah.
And it'll sell in that phase. And if it doesn't, it's typically because the sellers want too much money.
Yeah.
So then it goes on the website to see
the ghost tell
what person was dumb enough to look at this thing and overpay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the cool thing about commercial that I love is it's not emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, do I see myself?
It's like either the numbers make sense or they don't.
Yeah. And then the brokers will say, well, your underwriting is a little bit, conservative. I'm like, bro. And then I'll peel them apart. I'll say, no, you missed this, and this, and this, and this is right. And you're not putting it in your underwriting. So therefore the underwriting's correct. You're just over speculative.
Asking. Yeah. Are there things that you do when you buy a property to go in and like make the adjustments to inflate the price so that you can inflate rent?
Or like improvements?
Yeah. There are certain things that you do to properties like that where you're just like, hey, let's spend even more money. Let's spruce it up and ask even more for rent, or let's spruce it up and get it reappraised and pull our equity out. Like, are there little tricks to the game in that regard?
100%. Yes. You're always looking at
increasing the appraisal value to do a
because it's all about the net operating income, NOI.
Yeah.
Right. All comes down to that NOI number.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of commercial, is because it's not an emotional play. Like, I feel good. It's worth all my neighbors, right? It's not that game. It's like, what is the thing producing? It's its own business.
Yeah.
Right. So if I can increase that net operating income, no different than I increase the business's income and profit line, the business is worth more.
Yeah.
The property's worth more.
Yeah.
That's the cool part about it. So we'll go in there and either improve operations, right? Reduce expenses, increase revenue. Just by that can help. Or we'll go in and renovate the property. Just like you'd flip a house.
Yeah.
We can flip an apartment building. And that boosts, right? Because we can get higher rents, property looks better.
So would you go in there and spruce it up, increase rents, show it on paper that the rents are increased, and then you would take it to the market?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a guy that owned this building that we're in right now, and when I was negotiating the rent, I was like, no, I don't want to pay that much. I'm willing to, we were a few $100 off, like $400 or something like that
Per month.
per month.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we weren't too far off. And he just finally sat us down and was like, dude, and sat our agent down and his agent down and said, since these two guys are too stubborn to put their egos aside and get a deal done, I figured I would just sit down with you guys directly where we can actually have businessmen sit down and get a business deal done.
Sure.
And we can show them how it's done.
Yep.
And I said, okay, cool. This is my issue. This is what my overhead is. This is what I'm willing to pay.
Yep.
And he goes, okay, what do you guys pay for phones? And I'm like, I don't know. We have Ring Central. We probably pay $1,500 a month or something like that. And he goes, cool. I own a phone company, you know? And he goes, why don't I do this? Why don't you switch over to my phone company and you utilize my services there, and I give you the discount that you're looking for over there, but I don't do it on my property because every dollar on my property determines what the valuation of my property is. And so he's like, I want this in the contract at this amount per month so that I can get the valuation that I want out of my building, but I'll give you a discount over here so your phone expenses are going to come down extremely, but your rent is going to be $400 or $500 more than what you thought. But your overhead is your overhead. He manipulated it to the point to where the valuation of his building, which he ended up exiting.
Wow.
While we're still here, but he ended up exiting like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And
he did what's called expanding the pie.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that term?
No.
So I got mentored years ago when I was in school by this guy, Scotty McMillan, from the McMillan family.
Yeah.
One of the greatest negotiation I've ever seen in my life was in a room similar to this. And I was young. I'm in grad school at this point. And we walk into the room, and I sit in the corner, kind of like him.
Yeah.
Right? And businessmen in the table like this. And he pulls out a piece of paper. Because they had been fighting over price for
going back
ever.
and forth.
Can I see your pen?
Both of them being super
and
stubborn.
this was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. He says, listen, man, we've been fighting for and this was business owner to owner, right? And he says, we've been fighting over this for like a year. And all we're trying to do is split this up, and we're never going to get there. He says, this is what I would like to do today. We're going to expand the pie. So that way we can all get bigger slices when we cut this thing up versus just trying to fight over just the money, because all we're talking about is money here.
Yeah.
So he did exactly what this guy just did to you, which is brilliant, by the way. And he says, listen, here's why I can't give you this, but I can give you this if you do this and save you money here, make money here, all that. Yeah. So that way everybody's winning. We're expanding the pie because your need, right? We're just trying to figure out needs, right?
My need was met, and so was his.
There you go.
You know,
so he just expanded the pie right in front of you, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
Rather than just trying to keep chalking up. Well, let's talk about the rent number.
And here we are 10 years later paying $16,000 a month, you know, so he got us. I mean, I think we were at $7,000 or $8,000 a month.
Oh my gosh, it's gone up that much?
Well,
I guess every year.
We had 2/3 of the building.
Got it.
And then we took the last third.
Got it.
And so it went from that to like 11,000, but then every single year they're 3 or 4% increase every single year on rents times
X amount.
10 years it starts.
Yeah, it adds up. But that makes sense. I mean, that's normal inflation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well,
you're like, man, I wish my rent was still.
Hey, I think the business lesson here is regardless, every single year increase your prices, I guess, by 3 or 4%, because these real estate guys, that are renting these commercial properties, they don't miss. It's actually in the contract that your rent goes up X amount. And what that does is only increase the valuation of their commercial properties every single year that they hold on to it.
Yeah, they're hitting the inflation rate basically is what they're doing by 3 to 4%, because on average that's where it would be. So they're just hitting the inflation rate, which is why when they say what's the best hedge against inflation?
Real estate.
There you go.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just get scared because of the 2008 thing.
Yeah. Well, but
everybody's like, I think everybody wants to dabble in real estate. You can go ask 100 people, would you like to own real estate and have something cash flow?
Yeah.
And everybody would say yes.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to there's this thing, this thought process, this mindset that's holding somebody back. And usually it's a fear-based
around losing
money. And then you go to the worst possible situation that you could think of, 2008. I heard a lot of people lost money. And so therefore I don't want to be in that category. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to play in that game.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of, whether
Listen,
it's a
I would've
true
been-
thought process or not, subconsciously, I think that that's kind of what's unfolding in the minds of people.
Yep.
What would be your rebuttal against like somebody having that type of a mindset?
I would be the perfect reason, to sit here and go, well, yeah, I'm not going to do real estate because I watched my dad go through $60 million BK and lose everything in 2008. But what I know to be true, which is what we've built, everything we built on now, is leverage low, 60 to 70% debt on all the properties.
Yeah.
So you're never over leveraged.
So there's the gap there in terms of the equity.
Right. Because you'll never lose in real estate if you're not forced to sell something.
Yeah.
You only lose
When you
ever
Yeah.
when you're forced to sell something
Yeah.
in a timing you're not ready to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's when you lose.
Yeah.
So keep the leverage low in fixed rate debt. It's simple. So you keep leverage at 60 to 70% on the commercial assets, and you keep fixed rate debt. So that way you're not dealing with any of these variable, crazy ups, downs, lefts,
Fixed
right.
rate is in just it's
not going up.
You're not doing
It's
the
not variable
3 to
rate.
5 year thing.
No, you're still doing the 3 to 5 year, but it's fixed rate versus you can get variable rate interest rates where it can change monthly.
Yeah.
So, which is what happened to all these people.
Is the fixed rate more expensive?
No, I mean, right now you just have to have more money down, and the property has to cash flow,
Yeah.
right? So it's got to make
pencil
sense,
out,
right?
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely do it, but that's why people buy down the debt, meaning 60 to 70% leverage. That's
Yeah.
pretty typical on a commercial property, and then you have 30 to 40% equity in it.
So is that why they're coming to the number of 30% down?
Mm-hmm.
So
Any lender you go to right now for commercial loans,
yeah.
on any kind of commercial property, they're going to want a minimum of 30% down.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's SBA type stuff?
No,
Or
not
is that,
no, because you
or
don't get
is this-
SBA. You'll get what's called Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
You okay?
So that's government type financing,
Okay.
but they're still going to want 30, 35% down.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you can get kind of local commercial banks here within, say, St. George or whatever. They're still going to want 30% down.
Really?
Yeah, for commercial properties. Yeah, I mean, you may find one that'll let you in with 25.
Really?
Maybe.
I was thinking it was like 10%.
No, not a commercial.
Maybe 20.
Residential.
Yeah.
But residential, you'll pull that off.
Yeah.
Not commercial. They're going to want to see, because keep in mind, it's all a numbers game. So it has to meet what's called you'll hear this, DSCR loans, right? DCR, debt coverage ratio.
Okay.
So it has to meet that in order for the bank to give you the loan. They want to make sure that the profit being generated by the property is 1.25 times greater than the debt payment every month.
So if a debt payment's
$1,000,
you
they're
would
going to want to
need
make sure that
2,100 or something.
or,
Like 20.
they're going to want 1,250, 1.25 times.
Okay.
So if the debt payment is $1,000 a month,
Gotcha.
they're going to want to make sure that your net operating income is at least $1,125.
Gotcha. That's not too bad.
Or 1,250, excuse me, 1,250. Yeah, 1.25 times.
So I thought it was like one time. Like
No, yeah, 1.25.
So it would have to
So it's gonna
double
immediate plus
almost.
25%.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And that's it. That's the math. And the bank, and usually in order to get that to work in today's interest rate environment, you need 30% down.
So when you buy a property, do you immediately look? I mean, obviously, you've got two different ways to increase margins on any business or in real estate: reduce the overhead,
Yep.
or increase your margin,
Revenue.
your
Right.
price. Right? I mean, that's literally the game of every business owner's like, you want to increase your margins? Look at your overhead, drop your overhead somewhere, some
Yes,
shape.
it's the P&L.
Yeah, look at that. Or you've got the option of adjusting your prices. Increase your prices 10%, and there's your 10% extra in your margins.
Right.
So I mean, that's the only way to do it. But so do you initially, when you go into a deal, is one of the first things that you do you say, hey man, we need $100 a month more per unit, or
Right, so
200,
Yeah.
to just jump start the returns and things like that. Like,
Well, you're trying to find out where's the value add play. So you hear
Yeah.
that term value add, right? Where's the value add play?
Yeah.
Meaning, do we just need to increase the revenue, or basically improve the operations?
yeah,
Right? Do we need to improve operations of the property and therefore we get the return? Or do we need to physically improve it? Meaning by renovate the units, make them nicer so people pay more rent,
yeah,
renovate the exterior, interior. Like, what do we need to do physically to the property to jack the rents? And can we get those?
yeah,
Right? Are the comps
It doesn't make financial sense to dump $500,000 in renovating it.
Right.
Is the juice worth the
Right.
squeeze?
That's right.
And so you just run the numbers and then
That's right.
kind of determine it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. No different than if you were flipping a house.
So
Right.
where do you find the money after the fact if you're doing a
That's all-
renovating?
That's all built into the equity that's brought in.
Gotcha.
So when you're looking at kind of the total cost,
Yeah.
price, renovation dollars,
The down payment.
closing
Yeah.
cost, right? That's the total cost of the deal.
Yeah.
Price, renovation, closing cost,
Gotcha.
right? That's the total cost. And then you're going to get a loan for X amount. The difference is the equity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's how if you have a property that you're raising money for, you already know that it needs some love.
Oh, yeah. That's part of the due diligence. Yeah.
And then you adjust the amount that you're raising to make sure that there's enough money in
Correct.
the amount raised to give the property the love so that you can get the
You
return
capitalize
want.
going in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the returns have to be there. So
Yeah.
it's a simple mathematical formula.
Yeah.
No different than if you were looking at a flip calculator on
Yeah.
flipping a house, right? It's got to hit a certain margin.
Yeah.
I'm buying an apartment building. We're going to do X, Y, Z. It's got to hit these metrics that I mentioned to you. Otherwise, after we do whatever we're going to do to it,
Yeah.
and then it works or it doesn't. Right.
What's like like you've got the accredited investor thing.
Mhm.
Is it, are you only able to work with
No.
accredited investors, or you get to work with people because most people aren't accredited investors?
Well, you'd be surprised how many people
You
are
know.
accredited that don't realize they're accredited.
Yeah.
Because one of the number 5 on the accreditation is that you have an understanding of these types of investments and securities and blah blah blah. Right.
Uh-huh.
So there's a gray area line to feed.
So there's a line that's outside of the income that if you hit that, then you're still considered
You can
an
be,
accredited
correct.
investor.
Correct. I mean, I'll be somewhat careful in what I say, but yes.
Yeah.
But you can deal with non-accredited and accredited investors depending on the offering type. So
yeah.
there's 2 offering
Yeah,
types that I deal with.
Yeah.
Either what's called a 506B. So
Yeah.
for anybody listening, 506B offering allows you to raise money from non-accredited and accredited. Okay. A 506C offering allows you only accredited.
Gotcha.
Those are the 2 types.
Yeah.
There's others, but those are the ones.
I mean, accredited is almost like the mortgage game back in the day.
Well, yeah. So we,
You know,
yes,
there's
we
not a
deal
ton
with
of
accredited investors now.
Yeah, there's not a ton of due diligence though.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, when people have said, "Hey, are you accredited?" You know, fill out this accredited investor form.
Ask a questionnaire.
You make at least $250,000 a year, have a net worth of $1 million or whatever.
Yeah, and you can do a questionnaire, right, and all that stuff, which we do.
Yeah.
And then there's a third party you can bring into it to kind of verify if you wanted to go to that level.
Yeah.
Right, if that's needed. But there's some self-accreditations and stuff like that. There's ways around it. You have to keep in mind the whole overarching concept by the SEC
Yeah.
behind this whole thing is just to ensure you're not taking grandma's last 50 grand,
Yeah.
right? They don't want you on American greed,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So don't take her last 50 in her life savings and
Yeah.
put it into a deal and then lose it.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to avoid that from happening. And so that way, at least the people involved understand that, yeah, this is an investment.
Yeah.
You're likely fine,
Do you,
but you could lose it.
Do you think that by not being an accredited investor, the government is saying you're an idiot and we know that you're dumb?
No.
You know,
If anything,
because we don't trust you to make your own financial decisions without going through this
No, I think they're just opening.
loophole of
I think
signing.
they're opening it up to people that maybe, like, our minimum investment when we got started was $25,000,
Yeah.
right? So if you don't have $25,000 of disposable money to put into a deal that you don't need to worry about for 3 years,
Yeah.
then you should not be investing.
No.
Okay, it's not the right time. It's not, you can't, just not right now.
Yeah.
So if that ever came to us, I wouldn't accept their money. If they said,
Yeah.
dude, I got like 15 grand, I want to throw at this thing. I'd be like, bro, you're not there yet.
You're the one that's going to email me in 6 months and say,
Or-
"Well,
or-
can
or
I get
every
a
night.
Yeah, can I
'Cause you're
pull
the-
some money out?"
Right.
You know?
Or every night going, what's happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
So that it's just not, you don't take that like that.
Yeah.
You got to treat it with respect and people's money, protect it like yours.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do the right thing, because I always tell people there's a difference between doing things right
Yeah.
and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So doing things right, if your boss comes to you and says, hey, we need to increase profit margin by 20%, but in order to do that, you have to screw some people over, that's doing things right,
Yeah.
but it's not the right thing.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
And so I always make that gap between that. I say, just do the right thing. Trust me, it'll pay you 10 times over. I mean, I have 2 examples I can think of right now where I had to make some of the hardest business decisions I've ever made that were some of the best business decisions I've ever made. And they saved us.
Yeah.
They saved us. And they kept our investors because they saw how we handled it.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Well, you're always going to get presented one of those opportunities, no matter whether you're in real estate or whether you're a business owner. You're always going to be presented an opportunity when you're in the middle of a tough time, and that there's options to not do the right thing. I think everybody will be presented that, you know, and that's, you know, they always say character's not, you know, doing the right thing when it's easy to do it.
Yep.
It's doing the right thing when it's the most difficult thing in the entire world to do, but yet you still do it, you know? And so,
yeah, I had to walk away from $800,000 of non-refundable deposit money on a 200-unit apartment complex. And I just about crapped my pants. I hyperventilated for 2 weeks before I had to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What stopped you from doing it?
So this was right when the interest rates began to go up in 2022. We went into escrow on a 200-unit deal in Texas. Great property. And we went into escrow in March of 2022, and interest rates literally started to go up right after that.
Yeah.
And I knew they were going to go up. I wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
But not 11 times in 9 months.
Yeah.
Which nobody could have predicted.
Nobody.
So I'm seeing this deal just deteriorate right in front of my eyes. Well, at that time, the market was still hot. So in order to get a contract, you had to put some non-refundable money up. So we had to put $500,000 non-refundable just to get the contract because there was many offers on it.
So that was part of your letter of intent was because
that's how the market was at that time. Everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
And we were against 4 other offers and lock it up. That's, you know, so we did it because we'd analyzed it. It was a good deal. And then we had $300,000 in due diligence money during the course of escrow, from inspections to attorneys to like all the stuff, right? And this thing is deteriorating right in front of our eyes. And we don't risk, this goes back to some differences. We do not risk any investor money until we're getting ready to close. So we were getting to the point where we got $800,000, and I say me
deep into it,
in apartment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, like we can't walk away from this thing like this. But the deal is looking worse and worse every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there for like 2 weeks going,
there's almost no right decision.
Do I put a square peg in a round hole?
Yeah.
Force feed the deal to close. And then for short term, we're all heroes.
Yeah.
Option A. Knowing full well that there's at least a 50% shot that in 24 months, this thing's going back to the bank because it just doesn't work financially.
Yeah.
So that's option A. Or do we back away from it, leave our $800,000 on the table, protect the $12 million of investor money that's sitting there ready to go, but pull away from the deal? And after like 2 weeks of thinking about it, going back and forth, talking to our partners, I woke up in like a sweat one night, and I called in the morning and I said, listen, guys, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't, with a good conscience, risk $12 million of investor money knowing that there's at least a 50% shot that this thing's going back to the bank in 24 months. And that's if we get everything right.
Yeah.
I said, I can't do it. And so, we walked away from $800,000. And it was the hardest, best decision I've ever made. Because not only would that have gone back to the bank, looking at it in hindsight now, absolutely would have been back to the bank by now.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. The biggest part about that thing is this goes to show you how doing the right thing counts. Less than 90 days later, a off-market, pre-market deal came in front of us in San Diego, which is pretty rare, and came through one of the partners. And I saw that thing and I'm like, oh my God, this thing's an absolute home run. Because it had been owned by a family for like 30 years, barely raised rents. Beautiful property, just not raise rents. It was way under market, but clean. And I'm like, we can raise the rents like 100+% on this, no problem. In the market, I knew it, and I said, ink that thing immediately. Like I don't even need to look at it. I know that's because it's literally a neighborhood we own properties, and locked it up. And because of the way we handled that investor money 90 days earlier and saved their money.
Yeah,
they saw how we took it in the shorts for $800,000. And all that money came into that deal. No problem. They said, we saw that. You're the guys. Because you put your, on the table.
Yeah. Well, there's the old...
It was hard, man. It was the hardest, best decision I've ever made. And everybody's going to make a home run on that deal that we went into. But it still hurts, man.
Yeah.
We can't lose that kind of money.
Yeah.
We're not in a spot where we can lose that kind of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
To anybody.
Well, there's the sunken cost fallacy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like we have X amount in it. Let's just keep sinking more money
Right.
into this thing just because we've already sunk money into this thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how many times does somebody try to just keep something alive that they should take around the barn and put down?
Sure.
Just because of their so much time invested, so much money, and they're too far along to turn around. And what they're doing is just walking down a path that's, the walk back home is that much longer because what's going to happen is going to happen, and the smart people out there in the business world could see stuff like that and just be like, fuck, we gotta adjust.
Yeah. I had to, I don't know if you've had to ever do this in your life, but I'd say in the last 2 years, I've had to come to kind of a surrendering mode.
Yeah.
Where as long as I know I'm doing everything to the best of my abilities,
and
I'm giving everything I can to it, I have to let the rest fall into God's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if everybody's different in their faith, but I had to surrender to it and just say, listen, man, I as long as I know that I'm doing everything I can, I have to let the chips on the table be what they're going to be and just surrender to which is it's uncomfortable for people that like to hold control. Like me, I love the control factor, and if I get uneasy if I don't have that. But it's almost brought peace to me. In the faith side. Of just in life.
I agree with that big time. When you've played a game for enough years, you have enough data to say, okay, not everything that appears to be negative on the surface is negative. The majority of it's redirecting me to something better. I don't know what the better is yet, but you can't have eyes for opportunity if you're sitting there, in self-pity about something that's bad. All you're going to see is the bad. But if you always just have that mindset, it's like, man, I really don't know why, but I'm doing everything that I possibly can. I'm doing the right thing. Eventually, that thing that appeared bad at on that surface level, like $800,000, you made your money up and some, and did right by your investors that will probably continue to invest with you for many more decades. And so the $800,000 is just a drop in the bucket when you actually zoom out far enough and look at the big picture of what you're trying to build for the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. Right. So it's just, too many people take a look at a bad situation and they put it under a microscope and it becomes greater than what it needs to be, rather than doing the zoom out approach of it sucks, but having faith in God and having faith that you're showing up in the right way every single day, it always seems to work out. In
an odd way. It's amazing how releasing to that is uncomfortable. If you haven't done it. But how awesome it becomes. Freeing it becomes, because small problems, that's all they are, is just small problems. You don't continue to be a person that takes a small problem, turns it into a mountain, and people have always asked, how do you manifest? And I was watching some things online about that, and I said, the way that you manifest is asking, and I do it personally, God, but I said, I ask the universe and ask God as though it's already happened. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's almost in the sense I have a prayer letter. I don't know if you've ever done one of these things. It's a prayer letter that I read every single day, and it has personal, professional, and health in it. Yeah. But it basically says, God, thank you. I'm so grateful for the prosperity and this you've already brought into my life, as though it's already happened. Mm-hmm. Right? The $1 million in my bank account is amazing to look at because it gives me the opportunity to provide for my family and give back to others and all this blah, blah, generosity you've given me, blah, blah, blah. But it's amazing when you sit there, because people always fall into think that, they can just ask the universe for it and it's going to show up. Mm-hmm. Well, that's step one. That's definitely the step. But it's also the action side of it. So you can ask the universe for it. Dear God, please, let this come into my life, and I would really blah, blah, blah. Great. Step one. But then you better pay attention when God starts cracking the doors. Mm-hmm. Give you a perfect example. Like earlier this year, I said, man, I would love to start doing little ADUs, accessory dwelling units on the back of single-family homes
Yeah.
in San Diego.
Yeah.
And these would be great little opportunities. It's great for development. I need to start doing that stuff. Literally 4 weeks after I started asking for that, I'm in a doctor's office getting ready to go back for my physical, and I'm sitting in the waiting room. It's just me alone waiting, and then this gentleman walks in. He's on his phone. He's talking to his friend about how he has a house up near San Diego State University that's like perfect for like ADUs and stuff, and he's looking to sell it or partner up with somebody to do it. It's like it walked right in the freaking...
Walked in the door.
Walked in the door. Now I have two options. I can ignore it and act like, okay, I'm just going to go back and just not talk to him.
Yeah.
Or I can say, you know what? God just walked in the door and handed it to me on a silver platter, and now it's my job to go take the action.
Yeah.
So once he got off the phone, right before I went back in, I said, sir, I don't mean to interrupt your conversation over here, but I heard about this thing you were talking about up at San Diego State in this house. I'm looking for ADU deals. Like, do you mind if I take a look with you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see it? Like, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is people will ask for it, but then when literally God's entering the room for you and like giving it to you once, but you got to pay attention. Yeah. Sometimes it's very slight little.
But at the same time, you can't pay attention to something that you don't know you should be paying attention to. And what I mean by that is if you don't know what you want, you'll never be able to see those opportunities, right? So if you weren't specific about saying, hey, this is what I want, if you were just chilling, not really thinking about the direction or what you're trying to accomplish, then, that could happen. And it's just like, oh, that's cool.
So can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
So it's the end of, so we're here at the end of 2025. It's a year from now. It's December 2026. What?
And I'm the world record holder.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what are the top three things that you're going to have happen?
I'm going to be a world record holder.
Okay. Of half marathon.
A half marathon every day. 600 days will be,
which is insane, by the way.
Some it'll be November of next year. So just a little under a year, but I'll probably end up extending that. The guy that pushed it back from 235 days to 555 days really upset me. And so it's like I keep having these thoughts of like,
you say he upset you, I say he motivated you.
Yeah. Well, I get best motivated usually through frustration. To be frank, I get frustrated with a result that I'm experiencing, and I just get so frustrated that I just never want to experience that result ever again. So I'm willing to do whatever
to get out
and go through any discomfort just so that I don't experience that frustration. Yeah, because that's like, for me, the most defeating thing in the entire world. I mean, when people quit and give up on real estate or their businesses or that, it's in a moment of frustration. Yeah. When they feel like that they're swimming upstream or against the current, and then something else bad happens, it's like, screw it. If anything, you should get so upset that you're in that situation and the decisions that you made that put you in the situation, that you should want to change who you are as an individual so you never put yourself in that situation ever again. But I thought, maybe, I haven't gone over this with my wife yet, so she may not co-sign on the idea. But I've thought about doing double what he did, and then adding one day on top, because he got me. He ripped my heart out that day. But do
you want to be married at the end of next year?
I'll be married at the end of, we're good. We're good. It definitely takes a toll on the family. There's sacrifices that they need to make as well through the journey. But I'm like, what's double than 555? I'm like, okay, that's 1,110. So if I did,
you're going to run a half marathon.
I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of
it's bad enough.
600 days is for certain.
In your office before we came on here, I already thought I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not insane.
It's really not. It's 2 hours a day. I always dumb it down. I'm like, no matter how bad this sucks, it's only 2 hours.
Okay.
Anybody could do anything.
So you're running about 13 miles in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just 2 hours. That's what I tell myself.
Do you start off faster and slow down? Like, is there obviously fatigue?
It depends on the day, bro. Every day is super slow in the first 5, 6, 7 miles because my legs are so stiff.
Yep.
It takes time for that lactic acid just to kind of break up and have your body loosen up so that you can get going. And so, so I don't know, man. I've thought about doing 1,111 days. I like the number 1111. I love numerology, and it's double what the other guy did plus a cherry on top. One double plus 1 day.
What
make him look like a kindergartner.
What got you to the level of internal drive that you have? I know that it's driven through probably, you said, frustration or having pain as your fuel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a child, were you brought up where you had to prove yourself a lot? Were you, how was the child? I'm just curious because I'm so interested how people's internal drives get them to where they're at, because it's usually a product of that.
Yeah. I grew up really poor. Yeah, really poor. I don't know, man. I just always, and I think, and that's what's weird about it, is I think everybody feels like that they're supposed to do something great with their life.
Yeah.
We just spend our whole life trying to answer the question, well, what is it? And then our life goes just by because we can never answer the question of what is it that I'm supposed to do that's going to make my life a great life, a well-lived life, And because people can't ever answer that question, they don't ever do anything. And, I think that for me, the best place to start was, okay, what do I have the ability to control? I might not have all the answers. I might not know what my purpose is. Might not know, where I can make the biggest impact or how I become great. I might not have those answers today, but am I doing everything that I possibly can right now with this version of me that I am today to try to make progress in a manner that my perspective may change and that future me finds the answers that I'm looking for? And so I came to this realization. It's like the better version of you has all the answers that you're seeking. And then, so it comes down to, okay, well, what does the better version of me look like? Are they healthier? Do they move their body? What does that day look like? How can I design a day that without a doubt would make me a better me?
Like the ideal day.
The ideal day, right? And so and I even got to the point of, I'd watch, just as anybody else, the Goggins and these guys and do all this stuff. And to be quite frank with you, just out of sheer frustration, I got so frustrated that I would watch other people live out their form of greatness and make an impact just by doing hard things. That's it. He just gets up and he just does hard things. And by default, because he's doing these hard things and he's willing to suffer and go through discomfort, it's making a large impact on other people. So by default, if I just become the best possible version that I could possibly be and push myself to the maximum on a day-to-day basis, by default, me just living out my best life will have an impact to those that are in proximity of me.
Got it.
And so it's like, I didn't know that I had success in business and it didn't give me the fulfillment that I was looking for. I always wanted to be a professional athlete growing up. When you grow up poor, you're not saying I'm going to be an engineer, it's like, people on this block don't go do that, And so, after making a chunk of money, life-changing money for a few years in a row, I just hit a low point and just said, what do I do when I feel best in my body and mind? Every single time I move my body, I feel great. So that's when I decided to create the 2-a-days for 3 years straight. If I feel great moving my body, I should move my body to begin the day and end the day every day. So I start my day feeling good and I end my day feeling good. And I just did that more so out of frustration of being at a low and not knowing what I'm going to do with my life at 37, having my midlife crisis. Do I go buy the sports car, drop the top and forget about it? Or do I change who I am entirely as a human being and recreate? And I believe a midlife crisis is more like who you are right now is not good enough for you to go into the future with, right? It was good enough to get you to where you are today. Then you hit your crisis point because you're like, I'm not good enough to get the result I want, but going through change is hard also.
Yeah.
So then you have to kind of make that decision. And so I decided if somebody handed me $100 million tomorrow, what would I do with my time? I would pursue extremely difficult challenges, and I would move my body in a manner in which created extreme discomfort so that I could watch my mind turn on me, and then I can wrestle it and wrangle it in. And I just want to know for a fact that I'm 100% in the driver's seat. When I say that I do something, it's going to get done. And that's an empowering feeling, right?
Well, build self-confidence in you because you're not letting yourself down.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that people get into, and I've even fallen into that rut where, you put in the habits, like what you want.
Yeah.
Morning routine, whatever it is you want. But every single time that you don't fulfill that, right? It's like a cut by 1,000 knives of you not fulfilling in the self-confidence. It like literally lowers your level down as you
I just tell people,
then you start to have self-doubt.
Yeah, don't commit to things that you won't follow through with.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's as simple as I could put it, you know, and I say I'm going to do these crazy things for a reason, because if I say I'm going to do it, there's
you wrote this thing, this book, which is unbelievable by it.
Yeah.
And The Journey of the Remarkable. Yeah. When did you want to write this thing? Like what came into your thought where you're like, dude, I'm going to write this book? And then you wrote in there all the stuff about the half marathons.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about accountability. You're saying this in your office, but I'm like, that's crazy, because if I wrote this on paper and it's out into the public, where people can go read it,
you say what you're going to do,
bestseller and all the stuff, holy shit if you don't follow through, right?
Talk
about putting your nuts on the table.
Yeah, I mean, I've had days where, believe me, if I didn't speak it into existence, or if I didn't write it out, or I didn't tell people about it, that I would have quit. There's no doubt about it. There's been many days where I've sat there and said, you said that you were going to do this. You did a fucking TED Talk about it. You wrote it in a book.
Yeah,
you know. So anything that I've ever done, I've always called my shot prior. Woo. And I do that for the self accountability piece. When I was a phone sales guy, you know, I would just be dialing leads. I'd be like, oh, Justin's going to pick up, and when Justin picks up, I'm going to close this deal, and I would announce it to everybody, and people would be like looking at me. And if you picked up, it was go time. You know, it was now time for me to put on the show and show everybody that I'm going to close this deal, because I already put the pressure on prior to you even picking up.
And listen,
the
man,
phone.
there's people that crack under that.
Yeah.
They'll crack, right? And there's people that'll step up.
Yeah.
And I don't know what makes the difference between people that will step up and versus people that wither and crack and go into a corner. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But what's interesting is when people kind of get to that crossing road where they have to make a decision and step up, they either like wither, because they can't handle the pressure, or they like launch up, and you're like, man, I didn't know that son of a could pull that off.
Yeah,
and look at him, and look at her.
Yeah,
look what they did. I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
and like the moment of truth.
Yeah,
the moment of truth.
Crazy things that are buried in every single one of us, potential wise. Is the only reason why it doesn't ever get extracted is because there's a level of discomfort that it takes to extract it. So it's like this potential is protected by a barrier of friction and discomfort and pain.
You know, it's so
and
funny.
Struggle, and it's like, if you're not willing to go through these, then you don't deserve the power that lies underneath all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I was telling Kate the other day, because she was going through some stuff, and she didn't like my answer to this. But I'm like, well, babe, it's not uncomfortable enough yet for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? Like, it doesn't need to be uncomfortable. I said, actually, it needs to be painful.
Yeah.
Because I said, if the pain, like people make decisions in their life based on pain or pleasure. And if you ask people, they'll tell you it's pleasure.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
75% of the human population won't make it on pleasure.
Fear-based.
If they knew it was on pleasure, and they all want to be thin and fit and look all sexy, that's pleasurable.
Yeah.
You're going to get out of that. But until you walk into a doctor's office and they say you're going to die in a week if you don't lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Now you'll lose.
You can lose 20 pounds in a week.
It's amazing how happen that. But why? It's the fear, the pain, the discomfort. It's amazing what happens when they say that chaos, right, can create that. And in moments of chaos, people will make things happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing what can happen in a week. Right? They always say you want something done, right? If you give them a week, it'll take a week. Give them a month, it'll take a month.
Yeah.
Give them a year, it'll take a year.
Yeah.
Right. And people are like, oh, it's going to take 2 weeks. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I said, you know darn well that if you gave me 100, which is what my football coach always told us, they said, I don't want 110%. That does not exist. I said, I want 100. And everybody's like, what does that mean? I want you to give me 100% of the time you're here. I said, once you go home, you
go
chill
kick
out.
Your feet up. Do what
I said, when you're on this field in between the lines, you give me 100. I want 100% of your effort, 100% of the time you're here, and then you can go do whatever you want to do.
That's the only thing that we have the ability to control is our own effort.
Right.
The question is fear or an improper perspective or an improper mindset holding you back from that 100% effort. Usually it's a story that you're telling yourself about whatever it is that you're thinking about. The 2008 market crash, I can't do real estate. You know, there's a story.
I had to go do hypnotic reprogramming to get some of the subconscious belief systems out of my head.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that stuff?
Dude, I went to a Rob and Big or whatever. They had the Fantasy Factory on MTV. They went and saw like a psychic. So back in the day, me and my partner, Coulter, that owns 60 Day with, we went and searched out this lady, and we went and got this reading.
Oh.
And we were both broke and poor, you know, trying to make our way in the world. And she said some crazy things. We were doing it as a joke, like almost like this is all bullshit. Like let's go do it so that we can laugh about it at lunch after or whatever. But the stuff that came out of it was pretty.
So that was a reading, though. Was it not hypnosis?
That was a reading. So that's as far as I've gone into the weird sector. But I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'm down to try just about anything and everything. I've tried ayahuascas. I've mushrooms. I've tried. I mean, not a hypnotist, but psychic type lady thing or whatever. Hypnotherapy is definitely something that it does intrigue me. That's something that I would do.
First of all, I never thought I could get hypnotized.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'd gone through like therapy with a male therapist and stuff a few years ago, and he turned me on to this girl. He said, "Hey, you need to go see this girl, Lindsay, and she runs a place called Deep Space. It's in San Diego, and they do clinical hypnotic reprogramming." And it's because it's all subconscious. Right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that we have that we have no idea that are limiting belief systems. And they're all usually brought up through something that's happened in our childhood,
some
whatever
traumatic event
so like
or whatever.
Two things that I can tell you about on this. One was I had to figure out why I had such a hard time asking people for help. It's always been an issue since I've been young. I'm like, why is it so hard for me to ask people for help when people want to help? Like, why? Why do I try and do everything alone?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was number one. Number two was I wanted to understand why I thought that I could only make so much money because if I made any more than that, then I would lose it.
Putting yourself in harm's way.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so two things we found is the reason I had a hard time asking for help started when I was 9 years old in the back of my mom's Suburban, driving from school when I got picked up. My brother and sister were in the second row of the Suburban. My mom was driving. We passed by our street. And rather than turning on our street to go to our house, we went to grandparents' house. I started screaming, trying to figure out why this was happening. And then my mom said, well, we're not going home. Your dad and I are getting separated. And I started freaking out, like as the youngest in the family. Mm-hmm. Well, my brother and my sister, unknown to them, started saying, Justin, just shut up. Don't ask for help. Just relax, chill out, figure it out on your own. Deal with it. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Boom. Like it literally locked it in at a 9 years of age. And then it just perpetuated beyond there.
Yeah.
So that was that one. Then we had to go in, find it. It's crazy. Pull it out, reset the new belief system in the subconscious. You know, you're doing this while you're hypnotized.
Yeah.
Put it in and reset. And that was that one. The other one that we found out was because of my dad. Why I thought that if I go make a bunch of money, I'm going to lose a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Because every single time I saw him go make a bunch of money, which he did.
He put himself in a bad situation. Yeah.
And so it inbred in my subconscious belief that I can only make so much because if I make more than that, I'm going to lose it all.
Yeah.
So just get it enough to where it's
too risky up there. Just play it
subconscious.
Safe. Yeah.
Completely subconscious.
Yeah.
So all these little things that you got to go in, find, and extract, because those are the two biggest things for me. And then it rewires.
Well, there's a reason why we are the way that we are. The question is why. And it's finding those stories, right? Extracting those things that happened that make you label things improper.
Yeah. You don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
A lot of it's subconscious.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, man, I appreciate you you coming up and getting on the show and chopping it up with me.
Yeah.
It was fun. How do people connect with you? How do people find your book?
I would have them just go on YouTube, man. We've kind of been pushing everybody to enjoy YouTube. Go on Justin Brennan Multifamily.
Okay.
Just type it into YouTube, Justin Brennan Multifamily.
What are you posting on YouTube? Just like how to break down deals, or the deals that you're working on, or is it like the back end, behind the scenes stuff?
Well, for a lot of people, they kind of see what we're doing and they say, how can I get into multifamily?
Yeah.
And how can I do it with limited out-of-pocket capital?
Yeah.
So we talk about it all the time. How can you go buy a 10 to 30 unit apartment building in the next 90 days with less than $50,000 out of pocket? How can you do that?
Yeah.
And that's literally what the whole channel goes over.
Is basically guiding step by
you
step.
go from step A to step Z.
Yeah.
Because most people don't have a ton of money to start.
Yeah.
No different than I didn't.
Yeah.
So how do you then leverage your skill set?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's either sweat equity or check equity.
Yeah.
Right? Sweat equity or check equity. You got to figure out which one you got. And then that's how you roll.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, guys, go check out that YouTube channel. Again, Justin, thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate you having me, man. This was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Make sure you rate and review the show. Share the show with somebody that you love and care about that would get value out of it. Other than that, guys, keep kicking ass, and we'll see you next week.